Well, Sheila Gregoire is going to help us decide whether or not women really initiate 70% of divorces for frivolous reasons. And she's going to go to a study to show that. Now, as you can guess, this is going to be complete and utter nonsense because Sheila Gregoire is full of beans and I can't stand her. Let's get to the show, though. Let's see what's going on.
What if everything you've been told about the reasons women get divorced is wrong? I'm Sheila Gregoire from BareMarriage.com, where we like to talk about healthy, evidence-based biblical advice for your sex life and your marriage. And today, on episode 212 of the Bare Marriage Podcast, we're going to look at some seriously crappy takes on stats. And I am joined today to do that by my daughter, Rebecca Lindenbach.
Hello, hello.
And
now, let me stop it right there. I would just like to say I have never, ever been told any reasons why women get divorced other than their husbands suck and they weren't good enough men. That's about the only reason I've ever heard for the reasons why women get divorced from anybody other than maybe some kind of red pill content out there, whatever that is. All right, let's keep going.
Here's what I want to tackle. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, there has been an uptick, and I don't know why. I don't know what's going on, but there has been an uptick on social media and on other podcasts of people using two different stats, okay? One saying that women initiate 70% of divorces, which is true, all right? Lots of studies have shown.
Well, at least they admit that's true. Okay, so women initiate 70% of divorces. Actually, this is old information now as of 2020. We're almost in 2025 here. As of 2025, it's almost 80% of divorces are initiated by women. Okay, so that stat's even old now. Now it's up to 80.
Or not. And the biggest reason that women initiate those divorces, 75% of women say it's lack of commitment. And people are saying that, see, this proves that women are getting divorced for no reason.
So this study that they're going to go to, and we're going to go to it in a second too, says that 75% of women who are getting divorced, who are filing for divorce, say that it's because of lack of commitment. They need commitment, and it's lack of commitment. Now, I find that odd because the strongest, largest, biggest way a man can commit to a woman is to marry her. There is nothing bigger legally or even socially that a man can do than marry a woman. And once they are married, the women are divorcing at, now we're finding 80% of the time because lack of commitment. They're saying in this study found 75% of the couples in the study said lack of commitment. And I think the guys might be scratching their heads saying, how much more commitment can I give the woman? Well, how much more can I give? There's nothing else more I can give.
Yeah, which, as we will show you, is really, honestly, like gold stars to everyone for being able to misrepresent the story as well as you did. Like, I almost feel like that gets an accolade, like a Darwin Award, but for stats.
Yeah.
Like something like that.
Like how does this even pass the snow test? Okay, because so what they're saying is, hey, look at all of these women who get divorced for no reason. Women are selfish. Women are terrible. Women are leaving perfectly good men. The big crisis in the world is caused by women because they're getting divorced because of lack of commitment.
Exactly.
So guess.
Okay. Now notice what Sheila says there, and I'm going to say, said no person anywhere other than some whack jobs on some tiny space on the internet. No one is saying this. Maybe they should be saying this, but no one is saying this. No pastors are saying this. No politicians are saying this. No one's saying this. This is only being said from very small corners of the internet, and Sheila Gregoire is trying to make it sound like, well, everybody's just got this idea that women are just divorcing for frivolous reasons out here and they're leaving good men, blah, 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 blah. Maybe they should have that idea, but I'm telling you they don't. They don't have that idea. Let's go on, see what they said, and then we're going to go to the study because it's pretty funny.
So we did, people. We looked at the study.
Yeah. Which does seem to just be a really out there idea. Like that's really new thinking, guys.
Yes.
Like to actually read the study.
Reading the study that you're going to quote. But that's what we did because this whole stat sounded
And I read the study too. We'll go through it. But let's see what they say first, and then we'll go to the study. Because as you can imagine, they misrepresent the study because they are silly bimbos.
So strange to me the way that people were interpreting it.
So this stat came from a 2013 study. That's a matched pair study. It's a really cool study. Seriously, you should look it up. The link for it will be in the show notes. But it was a matched pair design, which means that they actually got to talk to both people of the divorced couple, and they would link them in some way, so they could say, hey, so spouse A says this, but spouse B says that. And this whole
hold on a second. It's a 2013 study. You know how old that is? That's freaking old. 2013. That was before social media even came out. I think 2014 is supposed to be like the first year where social media really came in. 2013, they don't even have real social media yet. This is what this study is coming from. It's supposed to just dispel all these things, blah, blah, blah. And as you can imagine, it's gotten to the nth degree even worse since then.
Reason for divorce being a lack of commitment was one option in a check all that apply question for what were the reasons behind your divorce.
Yeah, so they listed 12 things and they said check all that apply. They didn't say what is the reason. What is the one reason?
And they did ask what is the one reason. So
later on,
they did later.
Yeah.
So and later when they asked what's the one reason, what's the main reason? Do you think that 75% of women said I just felt like it? It just felt like a good thing to do on a Thursday. You know, I was like divorce era. You know, that's not what happened.
No, exactly.
Instead, 57% of the marriages, the last straw was either infidelity, abuse, or substance abuse and addiction.
Yeah.
57%. So the 75% of people, of women who are saying there was a lack of commitment, are also getting divorced because they're abused, they're being cheated on, there's a spouse who is not dealing with their addiction issues.
Right.
Like that's
Yeah. That also means over 40% were just saying, I got divorced because I didn't feel like being married anymore. Isn't that a major thing though? Even if I believe what you're telling me here, okay, well, yeah, 50-some% said that it was cheating, blah, 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 which could have been the woman cheating. That they don't even say that yet. But isn't that something a little bit, well, yeah, but over 40 then we're just divorcing because, whatever. We just, lack of commitment. I'm not feeling it, baby. I'm just not feeling the good vibes anymore. He's out of here.
sounds like
Which
a lack
also
of
classifies as lack of commitment.
Well, exactly. Like, I don't know. I think that sleeping with a bunch of people does signify a deep lack of
I
commitment.
know. I'm actually surprised that 100% of people didn't say lack of commitment.
Yeah, but that's what's so ridiculous is they latch onto this one stat that shows 75% of women said that there was a lack of commitment in their marriage, and then they completely ignore the 57% of women for whom it's like, yeah, I got divorced because of, or they completely ignore the 57% of couples where the reason was so clearly not a lack of commitment in terms of like I just don't feel in love anymore. It's like yeah, he's an abusive person.
And that was the 57% said that was the final straw.
Yeah.
There were actually more couples than that had some spread in their marriage.
But again, so I think we're saying 40% of couples then said, yeah, I just divorced for no reason, really. Just whatever. Anyway, let me go while they're talking. Let me go to this study. I thought it'd be fun to bring up this study. Let me bring this up here. So this is the study by the National Library of Medicine or whatever, reasons for divorce. And I want you to know, and the first thing here, this is a study that they're pointing to. It's based on 52 people. So what kind of freaking study is based on 52 people? Can you really get any good data based on 52 individuals? Like, what? Anyway, 52 people. That seems like a pretty insignificant sample size, but whatever. Hey, I'm no data scientist. But anyway, we go down in the study, and in the very study they're talking about, we look at the quotes in the study. Here, you got to look at this. This is from a woman. I realized it was the lack of commitment on my part because I didn't really feel romantic towards him. I always had felt more like he was a friend to me. So right in the study they're pointing to, there's a woman quoted saying exactly what they're saying is not happening. She says, yeah, I just lack of romantic feelings towards my husband anymore. I mean, isn't that ironic? It's like, you can't make this stuff up. You can't make it up. And these women go on and on, oh no, this isn't really happening. It's quoted right in the study that they're showing. Oh my goodness.
Okay, here's an interesting one. Illness.
Illness is a fun one to talk about.
So there was a really big study done in 2009.
Yeah, Journal of Cancer, right?
Yeah, Journal of Cancer. And what they were looking at is what happened to marriages when one spouse was diagnosed with a life-altering or life-threatening disease, things like multiple sclerosis, brain tumors, some sort of cancer.
Yeah.
That was really serious. So what happened to spouses? And I'm just going to read to you part of their abstract, their conclusion, okay? There was, however, a greater than six-fold increase in risk after diagnosis when the affected spouse was the woman, 20.8% versus 2.9%. So let's think about what that's saying.
Yeah.
In 21% of marriages where the wife is diagnosed with a life-altering condition, her husband leaves her.
Yeah.
That's
Whereas only 3% of men have that same experience.
Right. So 1/5 of men will leave their wives when they are diagnosed with a life-threatening illness versus just 3% of wives that will leave their husbands. That is huge. So to say that women are the ones with the lack of commitment.
Yeah, statistically speaking, on a general population level, it is just ridiculous. When you consider that.
No, so yeah, on a general population issue, it's not ridiculous because in the general population right now, we know 80% of women leave. If there's a divorce, 80% of the time it's the woman divorcing the man. And so I thought about this with this illness thing. And they're saying, oh, yeah, when there's an illness that happens, some kind of life-altering illness, 20% of women will get left by their spouse. So I looked up that study. I was like, okay, well, they pointed to that study. So I looked up that study. It's called Gender Disparity in the Rate of Partner Abandonment in Patients with Serious Medical Illness, blah, blah, blah. So okay, well, let me see this study. This says, like she quoted, women compose 53% of patients in the population. Divorce or separation occurred at a rate similar reported to the literature, blah, 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 blah. So it does say that there's a greater than six-fold increase in risk after diagnosis when the affected spouse was a woman of divorce. Now, what the study doesn't say is who divorced. Is it 70% of these women who are divorcing their spouses when they get diagnosed as well? Maybe they get a diagnosis and they're like, oh, well, I've got 6 months to live with this terminal cancer. I'm getting rid of this spouse and I'm going skydiving. I'm going Rocky Mountain climbing. I'm going 3.8 seconds on a bull named Fu Manchu or living like I'm dying, whatever. The study doesn't even say. It just says there's a divorce that happens. I mean, could that accelerate a woman divorcing her own husband? We don't know. The study doesn't even say there. That one for me didn't pass the sniff test about, well, yeah, if there's an illness, that a man would just leave his wife and just leave her in the dust. Because we know that society would ostracize the man who would do this. All of his family and friends and everybody he knows, if he just dumped his wife when she got diagnosed with a terminal illness, I just don't see that being a thing that's going to happen. I just don't see that. Now, give me a comment below if you know the reverse that's happened. When a man gets diagnosed with something and he can't work anymore, he can't provide anymore, blah, 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 blah. What's the likelihood his wife stays? I think there's some pretty damning statistics on what happens when those things occur. But we'll leave that. I don't know. Give me a comment below about that. I don't have any strong statistic to point to right now with that. Anyway, I just thought it was funny. Sheila Gregoire and her daughter point to this study and say, oh, no, women don't do this, blah, blah, blah. And right in the study of only 52 people, they quote a woman who says, yeah, I just didn't really romantically like my husband anymore or whatever. And then they say, no, it's infidelity. But they didn't say whether that's infidelity on the woman's part or the man's part. Because we know women cheat quite a bit too. Like the data's coming out on that as well. Anyway, we got to get this turned around. And we are getting it turned around. We're exposing it to the light. And Christ is winning. He is building his church, and the gates of hell will not prevail against it. Until next time, this is the PostMillennial Man.